I'm sure by now many of you are thinking, well, what does a cutting-edge use of Australian plants actually look like? Well, that's what you're going to see right now. In fact, this is one of the most fascinating gardens, one of the most exciting gardens I have ever seen in my life. Now, the colours and the textures and the bits of foliage here are going to blow you away, and yet most of them are Australian plants. This is done by Ted Whitley. He's a landscape gardener, and he really is at the absolute top of the tree for modern, adventurous use of plants. Now, this is an Australian native rainforest tree. There's a little rainforest plant at the back there, the stream lily. There's Australian native ferns here. This, of course, is an Australian orchid. That's a relative of the Gymea lily. You've got some of the native grasses here, through to here. Now, look at this. This is a wispy grafted grevillea. Another grevillea here. Look at the interesting foliage on this with those lovely sort of reddish colours to the new growth. Another grevillea in there with ferny sorts of things. This is that lamandra. In the corner there, of course, you've got the hardenbergia in both purple and white colours. Kangaroo paws. There's a stack of natives here. I know it doesn't look like it. Over here, that black Canetia, it's in flower at the moment with black things. There's this funny little grevillea with the reddish new growth. Again, wherever you look, another grevillea. Look at this, beautiful grevillea, just wispy sorts of foliage. There's a real challenge here to get your head around the fact that you've got such bright colours, such wonderful plants from all over the world, but hooked into Australian plants, and they are fabulous. Ted, I was just looking at this. To what extent did you set out to use Australian plants? Was it an accident or what?
No, it was very intentional. I'm very fond of Australian natives, so I spent most of my childhood growing up in the bush. I see a lot of gardens these days that are designed on European principles or North American principles, and I mean, we are Australian after all, and they're Australian plants, and they're underexploited, they're underutilised, and people don't take as many chances with them.
Clearly for you, the rules are there to be broken.
I guess I wasn't very good at rules. I wasn't really looking for them. I was just looking at putting these gardens together and getting some joy.
So what do you think of this garden? It's stunning, isn't it? Ted really has an awesomely good feel, but a new feel for plants. So it's full of Australian plants. Now, when most of us plant a garden, you put something in, it's this big, and you think, gosh, in 30 years' time, it's going to look really good. The breakthrough here is that all of the plants are being used at their best while they're still small. Did you think before that Australian native plants are always really grey and flat and boring and uninteresting? Yeah. Have one last look at a mix dominated by Australian plants.